Hey, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you join us in the world. It is the first cup of tea and case studies for our post-Easter holidays. How is everybody in the chat? Thank you for all 6 of you joining us this evening for our Amazon Rainforest case study special. Okay, thanks for dropping in, guys. We really do appreciate you in the chat today. Thanks to our mods. Hello, Team Mod. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you going all that way to join us tonight. Hello to Mace. Hiya, Mace. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us this evening for tonight's case study. Really appreciate that, guys. And Shadow. I like your little logo there. That's pretty cool. Is that a count? Yeah, I think it's a count. Quite relevant to the Amazon rainforest, if it is. If that's a count, very relevant to the Amazon rainforest. And who else we got in the chat tonight? We've got Laura. Great to see you, Laura. Fantastic. I can't make out what your picture is, though, but yeah, great to see you. And hopefully you enjoy tonight's case study as well. James, thanks for joining us. Good evening. Nice to see you again. Yeah, it's not been long, has it? I think we had a lesson earlier today. So, yeah, fantastic stuff, James. Good to see you. Hopefully a few others will be joining us very shortly as well. Just whilst we're waiting for a couple of us to join, a couple more to join, whereabouts did you get up to what did you get up to in the Easter holidays? Whereabouts did you go in the Easter holidays? Anywhere exciting on your travels? Did you get to see any new places that you'd never been to before? Or any old places that you actually just like going and visiting? So yeah, let us know in the chat. Where did you get up to? What did you do in your Easter holidays? How much traveling did you manage to get up to? I'd be really interested. So today's case study as well is the Amazon rainforest. Doesn't get much better than the Amazon rainforest as a case study. We're going to look at the causes, impacts, and responses of management of deforestation. This would come up in your paper 1, question 2, AQA Living World, if you're studying AQA. For those that are tuning in and studying other exam boards, it would come under, obviously, your tropical rainforest, biomes, ecosystems topic that you're studying. So, yeah, it's all relevant. It all applies to it as well. So it's good to see so many of you joining us tonight. That's really good as well. Have we been anywhere or not? Have we been anywhere? Let us know. Before we look at our what we've got sorted. Also, it is called Cup of Tea and Case Studies. Therefore, you know, it's kind of important to have a hot drink or a nice little drink. What's keeping you going in this evening's session? Oh, I love a cup of tea. Love a cup of tea. Have you got a cup of tea as well, or you got something else? And I always bring biscuits, but never get to eat them on them. Got my biscuits here. Good, don't they? A little bit of chocolate on, get me through this. Yeah, what's keeping you going in today's session? Have you got any nice goodies on standby to get you through your case study and your geography revision? Let us know in the chat. Hit us up in the chat if you've got if you've been anywhere, or if you've got anything nice to eat and drink before we start our case study. I'm going to get started in about 30 seconds. Let's just show you guys what you're going to need for today's case study. So let me just show you this. Share screen. See what we've got down here. There we go. So, let's just change it a little bit. Let's have it like that way. There we go. So we can see everything now. So you need a plain A4 piece of paper, all ready to go. Your pen, obviously, to make your notes and to do your revision. Always. We say it every time. We've got our colours. There we go. All our coloured crayons to get us through today's case study. Because remember, with revision, you've got to keep your notes short, keep it colourful, keep it keep it visual, and it all helps with that memory and retention. So, have you got what you need? Plain paper, a pen, and some nice coloured crayons. If not, you've got about 20 seconds, guys, to go and grab what you need before we start today's case study. This will all help you with your GCSE assessments coming up, whether you're year 10 or year 11 final exams. This case study is pretty much the most important, well-known case study for tropical rainforest. So it's really, really key for that. So make sure you've got all your stuff that you need ready to go. Right. I think we've caught up with all the comments. I think we've got all the comments there. So I'll just take that last one. Where's my comments here? There we go. No more comments. I tell you what, it's very quiet tonight, guys. Very quiet. Make sure you let everybody know that it's back on actually after Easter. I suppose we've had a break, so that kind of makes it a little bit quieter than usual. Okay. Also, thank you to everybody who subscribed. Got over 130 subs now. It's really good. And thank you for subscribing as well to the channel. Hopefully, it'll grow over time as well. Right, here we go. I'm really excited for today's case study, so I am going to get started. I'm just going to turn my camera slightly. Just there we go. Just so I've got a nice space to write in. So our title is going to be Amazon Rainforest. I'll just drop you down a little bit, guys, now so you can see a little bit clearer. There we go. Amazon Rainforest case study. There we go. Again, guys, always show me your case study sheets as well, what you're doing as well. Oh, there we go. I always put it in stars just because case studies are really important, especially if you're going for those grades 4 and above, obviously in a geography exam. It's important to know your places, okay? So I'm going to divide, I'm just going to zoom you out again, actually, guys. I'm going to divide the paper into 4 sections, okay? So we're going to have, I could do with a ruler, actually. I haven't got a ruler. Oh, dear. Have I got a ruler? Let me just see if I've got a ruler, guys. Could do with a ruler here. Ooh, let's have a look in the equipment. Okay, we've got a bit of a ruler thing here. So I'm going to divide it up into 4 sections, okay? There we go. So that top section's all one big section. That's going to be intro, general information about rainforest. And I'm going to divide this into 3. So we're going to have causes in 1, impacts and management. Let's put impacts there. So hopefully you've got a ruler, guys. I don't normally use a ruler, but we're going to do it extra neat today. We're going to do it extra neat so that we can be very proud. So here we're going to have causes of deforestation. This one's going to be the causes of deforestation here. This one's going to be the impacts of deforestation. Impacts of deforestation. There we go. Just zoom you in a little bit. Causes, impacts, and this one's going to be the management of deforestation. This is a really, really popular exam topic. There you go, management of deforestation. So there we go. That's how I've laid it all out today. There we go. Nice general information. Okay, so we're going to start with the general information up here, give you some facts about deforestation just generally. So I'm going to draw so we're going to start at the top left here. Let's zoom you in so you can see where we are. So we're going to start off with drawing a little world up here. There we go. A bit of Europe, Africa, North and South America. There we go. There's my little sketch of the world. And we're going to put tropical rainforests. Cover 12% of the land surface. So that's not the Earth's surface, because as you know, guys, a lot of the surface of the Earth is water. 2/3 is water. So of the land, tropical rainforests cover 12%. Okay. They used to cover. So we've lost about 1/3 of our tropical rainforest so far. So 1/3 of rainforests have been lost. Okay, so that's not good, is it? Due to various different things that we're going to look at further down here. So 1% of rainforests, 1/3 of rainforests have been lost so far, which is very upsetting. The other one we're going to look at is 45%. 45%. In fact, let me just make that stand out. Put it in a bright green start. There we go. 45% of tropical rainforests have been damaged, or what we call degraded, which means basically they are not what they used to be in terms of their condition. So tropical rainforests cover 12%. We've lost about 1/3 of the world's rainforests already, and this is on a trajectory of continued loss. And 45% of current rainforests have been damaged or degraded already. So not good at all. In terms of the, let's go on to a couple of things about the climate. We'll do a little bit about the climate here, the structure, and then a few facts about the Amazon. So we've got to try and squeeze a lot into here, guys. Let's try and squeeze a lot in. So we're going to do a little bit about the climate again. So we're going to draw the Earth again, but without putting the continents on. So rainforests are known as the equatorial rainforests. So here is the equator. Let's put that on. So they're known as the equatorial rainforests. And let's just, and they're basically a band that exists around. We'll put a little key up here, look, saying location of rainforests. Location of rainforests. There we go. So they are a band across the equator. That's why they're called the equatorial rainforests. And they sit between two really important lines of latitude in the tropical region. So we put those on, which is the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So that's why they're in the tropical region. So between those two is the tropical region. There we go. So this area of the world is tropical. Let's just zoom you in a little bit further. There you go, guys. It's looking quite neat today. So that's the tropical region between the tropical rainforests. Okay. So that's where they are located. The largest one, let's just put some places where we find. I'm going to use TRF. So tropical rainforests are found in places like Brazil. Put some names of countries. It's always good, isn't it? Peru. Let's go for Indonesia. Let's go for Borneo. That's a good one. Borneo. Indonesia. You don't have to remember all these. Let's go with also, yeah, let's just go with those. There's plenty there, isn't there? There's 4. Okay. Right, I'm going to draw another little world now, which is to do with the climate. This gets a little bit technical because, as you know, the climate of the rainforest is quite unique. Okay, so on the equator, we're going to draw a little diagram here, a mini version of the diagram. On the equator, warm air rises, so we're going to have warm air rising up. That's our warm air rising. And then it heads towards the tropics, Cancer and Capricorn. There's my tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. and then it sinks on the tropics. So this means that on the equator, because of all that warm, moist air, we get a lot of cloud formation, condensation, and a lot of precipitation. Okay, so there's our rainfall on there. So we're just going to add a few labels. These cells here, these movement of air, so rise on the equator, then sinks on the tropics. These are known as, I'm just going to put H and H here. These are known as, if you can remember from your lessons, these are known as the Hadley cells. So H equals the Hadley cells. So this is where warm air rises on the equator, then sinks. This area here, because of the warm air rising, is a low pressure belt. So anything on the equator is known as a low pressure belt. It's where warm air rises and condenses. Someone said 1/3. Absolutely. Who said that? There you go. Team Mod. 1/3 of the rainforest loss is far too many. I couldn't agree more. And we also have our other mod in the house as well. So low pressure belt here. Low pressure belt on the equator. Because that air lifts off the equator, it creates this low pressure belt. For our higher grades, this is known as, this area here on the equator is known as the intertropical convergence zone. Intertropical, I'll put it in capitals, convergence zone. And that's because on the equator, warm air meets there. Yeah. Yeah, so warm air converges, it meets on the equator, so it's called the intertropical convergence zone as well. There we go, intertropical convergence zone. Now that, if you can try and remember that, guys, that's a really helpful thing if you're trying to get the top grades. ITCZ is an intertropical convergence zone where warm air meets. In fact, oops, I just dropped my red pants there. Wait a minute. Oh, there we go. I tell you what, anything can happen when you're live, can't it? There you go. So warm air meets on the equator. So yeah, that's warm air, and it meets on the equator. There we go. Right, I just want to add a few more things. So average temperature, let's try and squeeze this in. It's going to be a lot of information here. We're going to put a little thermometer here. Yeah, there's our little thermometer. And the temperatures have a very small range on the equator. And they kind of range between 27 degrees and about 32 on a hot day. So between 27 and 32 degrees. And in terms of rainfall, annual rainfall, which we're getting very busy down here. There's so much to say, as you can imagine, about rainforests. Annual rainfall is over, so it's anything over 2,500 millimeters per year. So a hell of a lot. Anything over 2,500 millimeters per year, and 27 to 32 degrees as well. I'm just going to add here, there are no seasons. It doesn't really, it has a slightly drier season and a slightly wetter, but it doesn't really have seasons. So generally, we say that the rainforest doesn't really have seasons. It tends to have the same climate all year round. There you go. So we've got our facts and figures. We've got our science on the climate and the location. I do want to add a couple more. In fact, I might put a fact up. No, I'm going to put it. I want to do a little bit about the structure of the rainforest here, actually. I think that would really, really help. I don't know where I'm going to put my Amazon facts. Maybe, yeah, I'm going to have to squeeze them in. Let's put my Amazon facts next, actually. So some facts about the mighty Amazon. I call it the mighty Amazon because so many, because it's the largest rainforest in the world. So let's do a little fact file. First fact we're going to put is the Amazon is the largest rainforest on Earth. Doesn't get any bigger than the mighty Amazon rainforest. So it's the largest rainforest on Earth. In fact, we should do a first place, like a medal. There we go. First. There we go. First place. Number 2. Let's do another little fact. Amazon covers 9 countries. It covers 9 different countries. That's how big it is. And just to give you a few facts, 60% of it, 2/3, is in Brazil. So most of it's in Brazil. 13% is in Peru, 10% in Colombia, and then the others kind of follow the kind of northern countries, Venezuela and those sort of areas. But 60%, 2/3, is in Brazil. But it does cover 9 countries. It's that big, it's huge. Other facts about the Amazon. Let's go for a couple more. It has 40,000 species of plants, different species of plants. So it is very biodiverse, which basically means there's lots of. There we go. That's my little plant, guys. 40,000 species of plants. Yeah. It has 400 species of mammals. So that's generally. How do I draw a jaguar? Maybe I draw a little monkey or something. Yeah, maybe. Just try and draw a little monkey with its tail. Its long arms. There we go. Looks nothing like a monkey, guys, but there you go. It'll do. Oh, looks quite cute, actually. He hasn't got any ears, though. Let's put some ears on him. Now he looks like a bear. Anyway, draw a macaw. You are kidding, aren't you? That's quite advanced. Draw a macaw. I haven't got to birds anyway. Fish. Now, this is one for me. 3,000. I can draw a fish. Species of fish. There we go. There we go. And then just do the little bubbles coming out of his mouth. There we go. 3,000 different species of fish. Sorry, guys, just waving the camera about you. So it is the most. 50% of all animals live. 50% of all species live in tropical rainforests. So it has very high biodiversity. That is why they are so important. 50% of all species on Earth can be found in tropical rainforests. Superb. Right. Let's just do. I don't know if you've got any more space, but I was just going to do a tiny bit of the structure of the rainforest here, which I think would work quite well. So let's just draw the different layers of the rainforest. So that's our tallest tree. Can you let me know in the chat if you know what the tallest trees are called? That would be good. Then we've got our main area of trees here. Bit of revision here. Put the sun on. We're revising everything of rainforest today, yeah, pretty much. Let's get the sun on. Oh, sorry, guys. We'll talk about the soil as well in this little section. What else have we got? Oh, we got the smaller ones. Have we got any answers to what the tallest trees in the rainforest are called? Not yet. Come on, guys, let us know in the chat. And then we've got our bottom layer. So let's get a bit of colour on here. There we go. I don't even know what that says there. Grow up to 80. What's that? 88.5. What do you mean by 88 meters? Wow, that's not true. Not these trees. You might be getting it mixed up with the Canadian redwoods, I think. Right, so our trees that are the tallest are known as the emergent layer. And they grow around about 50 meters. Okay, 50 meters, guys. Meters, yeah, 50 meters. Then we've got our canopy, which is the main dense area of the rainforest. That's about 35 meters in height. That receives around about 75% of the sunlight. These get 100% of the light up here. So that's 100%. This one gets about 75% of the light. There we go. That's a little pie chart, guys. Zoom you in. There we go. Then we've got the under canopy. The under canopy, which gets about 50% of the light, roughly. Maybe even less than that. Between 20, 25 and 50, something like that. So let's just do half to a quarter. There we go. This is the amount of sunlight that it's getting. That's why it's yellow here. So amount of sunlight that it gets. And then the forest floor, which is the lowest layer, forest floor, that can get anything as low as about 2 to 5% of sunlight. So very little sunlight down on the forest floor. So the largest trees are getting the most sunlight. Therefore, they're photosynthesizing the most, and that makes them, a larger species as well. The soil itself, the soil in rainforest tends to be quite infertile. Lacks nutrients, basically. So there's not enough goodness in these rainforest soils. Largely because of the demand. There's so much demand on the soil from the plants and trees that there isn't much nutrients in there. So there you go. Right, we've got all our facts about the rainforest of the Amazon. We've got different layers of the rainforest in the Amazon. Okay, so I think we're ready for the causes. Let's have a look at the doom and gloom over here. So just zoom out for a minute. Can you see? Hey, that's looking really good today, isn't it? I'm pretty happy. I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 so far, I think. So we're going to go down this section here, causes of deforestation, and we're going to have a little look at why the rainforest is being cleared. Okay. So we've got 6 roughly main causes. We'll try and put a few facts to them. So we'll probably do 2, probably do 2, 2, and 2. We do 6 different reasons. If it comes up in the exam, it'll be something like assess or discuss the causes of deforestation. So we're going to start with the main cause of deforestation, which is commercial agriculture and cattle ranching. So let's put it here. We're going to put cattle ranching. So this is where you allow the land to develop pasture, grow grass. So you clear the land, you clear the trees, you allow the pasture to grow, the grass to grow, and then you bring your herds of cows, we're talking thousands of cows, onto that land, and then you let them graze the land with the mindset that you're going to use it for meat. Cows can be used for beef exports, and maybe milk or any other products, food-based products, basically. So commercial Cattle ranching and commercial farming. Commercial farming means you are growing enough food to sell, basically, for a commercial market. So you sell it to sell. Cattle ranching and commercial agriculture. That's basically what we're talking about here. So that's our first one. This accounts for 70% of all deforestation. Mainly for exports. So it actually increases exports. So that's what they're doing. That's why they're doing it. And food supply, basically. And it's things mainly such as beef, soya, and the dreaded palm oil, which is used in beauty products. It's even used in cooking and baking, all that sort of stuff. But those are the main products. And these are all cash crops. So things like soya have all got high value if you grow them and sell them. So we need to somehow draw a little farm, lots of pasture. There's our pasture. You would get some little stumps of trees still there that they've left behind. But this is our main cause. The main reason why rainforests are being cleared. To make food, to grow food, sorry, not make it, to grow food for human population. And with that increasing, that's my cow, by the way. And with that population increasing, it's only going to get more pressure. Okay. All right. Let's go on to our next one then. Let's go on to logging. In fact, let me just colour cattle ranching in a little bit so it stands out. Cattle ranching. Right. Our next cause. Let's do them in order, actually. So the next one is subsistence farming. Subsistence farming. Because you might be asked to evaluate the causes, and therefore you can now evaluate them based on scale. So subsistence farming, which is indigenous tribes clear land to grow food, basically to stay alive, to be sustained as well. Small plots of land to grow their own food supply. This accounts for 20 to 25% of all deforestation. Yeah, that's what's happening. So let's draw a little picture, because pictures help us remember. Let's just put some crops in. There we go, planting some crops. And let's put our farmer in, our indigenous farmer. There we go. And he's got a little axe, or she's got a little axe to clear the land. So subsistence farming is also a main cause of deforestation. One of the ways in which they do it, actually, let's try and get this in. We'll try and get as much information on this one as we can. One of the ways that they do it very quickly is by setting fire to the land. And when you burn the vegetation back, you can actually, the ash then helps to increase the fertility of the soil. So it's actually an effective way of adding nutrients to the soil. But this is called slash and burn cultivation. So that's how not all, but some of the land is cleared in our rainforest. And it's it's a very destructive practice. It's easier for them to do it that way, because imagine if you had to clear all the stumps, all the little stumps and things like that, you just burn them away. So they burn the area, clear it through burning. It's called slash and burn cultivation. It accounts for around about 20 to 25% of all deforestation. So that's the scale. Look at commercial farming. Wow, 70%. Crazy, crazy numbers that is. Okay, we're going to go to our next one now, and these are all in third place. We've got logging. Logging is our third. It's quite a long way behind them. So logging, trees are cleared to sell / export. Yeah. So they clear the trees to sell or export, often used in things like construction industry, because you think how much wood you need in things like house building and things like that. Also used in furniture and the obvious. But logging, that accounts for 2 to 3% of all deforestation is directly for logging. So we'll go in here, we'll draw a chainsaw, we'll draw a tree that's been cut down as our log. It's about to fall. There we go, there's our tree. And then we'll draw our chainsaw. There we have it. I hope you're keeping up, guys, on this on the live tonight. We do really appreciate you joining us. Hopefully you're enjoying this bit of geography therapy as well with your revision. So logging is the third biggest cause, and the trees that they are after are mahogany. Mahogany is, there we go. So mahogany are the trees that are really valuable, and these are the ones that it tends to target. But in particular, it's the hardwoods. So mahogany is a hardwood. That's the ones that they are heading for. Okay, let's go down to our next cause. Now, there's no order to the next ones really, but I'm going to go with mining, which is the extraction through open cast mining. So open cast mining, and full stop. There we go. Open cast mining, and the main thing that they're after, guys, is iron ore. Iron ore is the main thing. So that is a red mineral, and that is very valuable. It's used to make steel. So iron ore can be found in the Amazon soils. Loads of minerals in the Amazon soils, but iron ore is one particular one that they're after, which is very valuable. The biggest iron mine in the whole world is called the Carajás mine, and that is in the Amazon. The Carajás mine is an example of an iron ore mine, which is valuable minerals, basically. There we go. Right, we're going to try and squeeze in 2 more. Let's do, so it was mining. Let's do road development. Road development. So that's the building of new roads through the Amazon. Put a few trees next to it. There we go. So that's road development. And we've got here the most famous road that's been built in the Amazon is the Trans-Amazonian Highway. The Trans-Amazonian Highway, which is the most famous one, and that is 4,000 kilometers in length. So you're talking about just near 3,000 miles. This road cuts through the Amazon rainforest. Very destructive practice. Lots of trees are cleared for the development of roads. And here is an example. Last but not least, let's go with which one should we do? I think we should do energy development. I think building dams. Should colour our trees in. There we go. So it looks nice and pretty as well. So dam development. There we go. This is where you block the river to create reservoirs and to create hydroelectric power. So we're going to go with dam development. I'm going to give you an example, which is called the Balbina, B-A-L-B-I-N-A, the Balbina dam project, which is in the Amazon. All of these are in the Amazon. And that covers 2,300 kilometers squared. So the dam project and the reservoir impacted 2,300 kilometers of forest area. So we're just going to try and get a little bit of a picture here. We'll draw our dam. And there's our dam wall. And then behind it, you get your reservoir, which creates a flooded area of forest. So let's get our water lamp. So that's our dam. That's a concrete man-made structure that blocks a river. Well, it allows a controlled flow through the river. It limits flooding, but it can also create hydroelectric power, HEP, which is a renewable energy and is a great way to create energy. Hello, Abigail. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us this evening on the Cup of Tea and Case Studies. Hit that like button, guys, if you haven't hit the like button already. Here we go then. So that's our dam. And it leads to areas of forest being flooded. So 2,300 kilometers of forest. So let's just zoom out and have a quick look at that section. There we go. So these are the causes. Oops, let's go a little bit higher. The causes of deforestation. Well done, guys. It's looking good. We're now going to move on to the impacts of deforestation. And we're going to look at a couple of positive, but mainly negative impacts. So we've got four. We're going to split it up into four here, four major impacts. We're going to start with positives, though. So we're going to start with a positive. So let's give it a big. And you might be thinking, what on earth could be positive about destroying one of the most beautiful, precious ecosystems on the planet? Are you serious? But there is a major positive here, the impact of deforestation, which is wealth generation or economic development. So economic development. You've got to remember that these people are not bad people. They're just trying to make money for their livelihoods by doing all these things. Look, they're all economic activities, yeah, to make money either for themselves or for a business. Okay, and that's going to create wealth for the country and improve people's livelihoods. So it's going to increase jobs, Yeah, you're going to increase jobs in the area. In particular, jobs for local people. Yeah, you're going to increase jobs for local people. What else are you going to increase? You're going to increase your exports and trade. So all of these goods, beef, soya, iron, logging, timber, all going to increase your exports and trade. So you're going to actually be selling more things internationally or nationally. So it's going to increase trade as well. Let's just zoom back in again. See a bit closer now. So trade, oops, there we go, trade. It's going to all help with the multiplier effect. That's for my higher grades watching. So basically, increased trade will increase people's wealth. More people have got more money, pay for education, healthcare, food, bills, all that sort of things, and that will improve their quality of life. So that leads to an improved quality of life as well. And not to mention, the whole country will develop. So Brazil, which is where the Amazon, 60% of the Amazon is located, Brazil will actually benefit hugely as well. So its GDP, gross domestic product. Brazil will be a richer country if it uses its natural resources to create products or to export natural resources. It will increase its wealth, its economy will grow and increase its GDP. Just to give you a fact here, let's just put a little fact here on this big money bag. There we go. There's our money bag, which could be the wealth generated. Brazil earns, on as an estimate, earns around about 8 billion per year just from agriculture in the rainforest. I mean, that is phenomenal. Exporting beef, soya, palm oil, things like that. It earns the economy 8 billion per year. And also, let's just put around here, Brazil is the second largest exporter. So it's absolutely brilliant for trade. It's great for generating wealth, all that sort of good stuff that governments are interested in. So there you go. Deforestation is good economically. It is very good economically. But it can also be done sustainably and economically at the same time, which at the moment it's not really working that way. Right, let's have a look at some of the other major issues we've got. Let's do soil erosion here. So this one's a big negative. So we've got 3 negatives and 1 positive. That's supposed to be a cross, guys. Not sure what's happened to that. Anyway, soil erosion. Okay, soil erosion. When you clear the land, you expose the soil to very heavy rainfall in the rainforest. We've already talked about it up here. Very heavy rainfall. And that then, washes away the soil. Yeah. And in the soil, if you're a bit of a gardener, you already know this, but most of the nutrients are in the top section of the soil. It's called the topsoil. The topsoil is the most fertile bit of the soil. It's actually the O horizon of the soil. The O horizon is what you call the topsoil. It's where most of the nutrients are. And what happens is this rain just washes that top layer of soil away, and you lose all the nutrients and the goodness from the soil. Or it pushes them much further down in the soil profile, which is called leaching. So we're going to put here, there's my nutrient, and it's been washed further down in the soil, away from any roots. This process is called leaching. So soil erosion, high levels of precipitation, rainfall basically, wash nutrients out of the soil. And our bit of goodness there, our nutrient has been well and truly washed down, and that is called leaching. How am I going to get that in there? Need to fit the word leach in here. Can you fit it in? I'm just going to squeeze it in there, guys. Leaching. Can you see that? Let's just zoom you in. Soil erosion, high levels of precipitation, wash nutrients out of the soil, and it's called leaching. And it's here. Leaching. Great word to remember, guys. Leaching, where nutrients are washed lower in the soil and the plants can't access those because of that. So because all the vegetation has been removed, in fact, let's put removal of vegetation up here. Removal of vegetation. That leaves the soils exposed to very intense high rainfall, and that then can wash the nutrients out through leaching. There we go so far. Right, we're going to do two more. Let's go. Oh, I've got a fact about soil erosion. I'm sure you want that. In the Amazon, here's your fact about soil erosion. 55 million tons of soil is eroded each year. So these little facts, guys, are really good if you're trying to get those. If you're trying to really impress the examiner, 55 million tons of soil is eroded each year in the Amazon due to these heavy rainfall and exposed soils. Do I do? Yeah, let's do the other ones. Two others. So I'm going to go with probably the most topical one because everybody talks about climate change. The loss of carbon storage. So as you know, trees absorb carbon dioxide. So we're going to call it here climate change. Climate change. Yeah. So by clearing the trees, you reduce the vegetation coverage. So if you deforest the trees, you're reducing the vegetation coverage, which then you are reducing the amount of photosynthesis, reducing photosynthesis rates. There we go. So we've got less photosynthesis, which also then means we've got less CO2, carbon dioxide, storage or absorption. So less CO2 is absorbed or stored because you've cleared the trees. And that will increase how much CO2 is in the atmosphere. So it's going to increase atmospheric CO2. And then, as we know, CO2 is a greenhouse gas. It is the second most effective at insulating. So more CO2 means increased global temperatures, which is what we don't want, guys. Trees are our allies in tackling climate change. We don't want trees to be lost. So let's just draw a little forest here. Here we go. So that's a forest that's working, and it's going to be absorbing CO2 from the atmosphere. It's doing its wonderful job. There we go. And that is what we call a carbon sink. Yeah. So a carbon sink is an area that absorbs more carbon than it releases. And the rainforests help to regulate global climate. They are fantastic. They're also known as the lungs of the earth as well, because they produce oxygen. They kind of, through their cells, they release oxygen, but they're known as a carbon sink. However, when you get rid of them through deforestation, they become a source of carbon. So let's just put one that's been chopped down here. There we go, that's our timber. So because there's no tree anymore, they become a carbon source. There we go. Especially if you burn it. So if you burn the wood, like we said over here, slash and burn. There you go. If you burn the wood, then they become a carbon source. So they will either release carbon if you burn them into the atmosphere. They won't release carbon to the atmosphere if you don't burn them, but they tend to release carbon into the soil if you just let them decompose. But yeah, that's what they become. They become a source of carbon. Okay, but to get the carbon out, they must be burnt through things like slash and burn. So climate change, really topical. Carbon storage. Yeah, don't clear trees. Look at huge. So that's an environmental damage. In fact, let's just do that. So that's economic and social. So that one is social and EC, economic. So these are, so the benefits tend to be social and economic. But these two negative ones here, this one and this one, are environmental. So the impacts tend to be much higher based on, if you're evaluating, they tend to be environmental impacts. Okay, EMV, I've put there, environmental impacts. Right, the last impact is a bit of a sad one for me, guys, is loss of species and habitat. Yeah, if you're a bit like me, I'm sure many of you are as geographers, upset about the loss of species, the reduction in habitat space, things like that. What can I draw for this? Let's just draw a dead fish or something, because they're a bit easier to draw, aren't they? That's my dead fish. There you go. Loss of species. On average in the Amazon, because we like to get some facts, don't we, guys? We love our facts and figures. We've lost about 137 species that we know of, okay, which is a bit of a problem, because animals and plants in the rainforest are really important for things like medicine. They're important for the food chain. Okay, so I'm going to put that impacts on the food chain. Now I have missed one out, guys, which is indigenous tribes and species, indigenous groups of people. That's another impact, where people move into the forest and get contact with indigenous tribes. We haven't got enough room on this one, as you can see, guys. We are filling up pretty quickly. Right, let's have a quick look at the overall thing, and then we're going to do the last box. Hey, look at that. Hey, how's yours looking in the chat? Let us know how yours is looking. We've covered a lot of topics there, haven't we? Hell of a lot of revision. Right, got one more to do. Let's try and smash this out, guys. Management of tropical rainforests. Let's do this one. Zooming in. Let's go in a bit closer. So we're going to look at how we can manage our rainforests, and there are lots of different ways in which we can do this. Okay, again, we'll try and be selective with what we do. So one of the best methods of managing rainforests is debt reduction, it's called. Okay, so basically so most of our rainforests are in poorer countries like Indonesia, and what we would do is we would cancel their debt. So we'd wipe their debt out. So that's their bit of money that they owe. A debt is what you owe. We would cancel their debt in order for tree and rainforest conservation. So a country that's in debt with rainforest, we'd go, okay, we know what we'll do. Instead of you clearing your trees to pay back your debt, because that's what they'd probably do, they'd clear them to make money from the products. They will now protect the rainforest. So it's an exchange. So the debt is an exchange for rainforest conservation. So you've got to look after the rainforest, and if you do so, we will cancel your debt. A great little project. This is one of my favorites. I would put this in first place. It's probably a very effective method, because if going back to this one, the main reason why they're clearing the rainforest is because it creates so much money for the countries. And to pay the debt off, we would have to do more of this. However, if we say, okay, let's cancel your debt, if you promise to conserve the rainforest for the greater good of the planet, that would be a fantastic thing. So your example is, in 2011, the US government, the United States government, agreed to what's the word here? They agreed to convert 28 million dollars, sorry. Oh no, dollars of debt from Indonesia to protect forest. There we go. So Indonesia was in debt to the United States. They owed them $28 million. They owed them $28 million. And what happened was the US said, right, okay, you protect your rainforest and we will cancel your debt. And that was the agreement that was done. What a fantastic way to do it all. I think that's a great solution and very effective. It helps the global climate. It helps the planet. It helps protection of species in that area. And it also helps the country that had got themselves into a little bit of debt. Okay, our next one is going to be education. Really important, guys. That's obviously what you are doing with your GCSE geography. You know all about deforestation, but remember, these people in these countries where the rainforests are perhaps don't know the impacts of deforestation, perhaps don't know all this sort of stuff that you've just been revising. Therefore, we need to educate. So the WWF, which is the World Wildlife Fund, is a charity NGO, non-governmental organization. Let's put that there, NGO. It's a non-governmental organization that promotes the conservation of rainforests. They'll make leaflets, they'll go on protests, they will raise awareness on social media. Another one actually is Greenpeace. Let's put them on. They're another NGO. They put pressure on governments to act and do the right thing and protect rainforests. So Greenpeace is there. So education is a really effective way of promoting. So I'm going to put raise awareness of the issues, awareness of issues, and increase pressure on governments. That's what we want. So the governments feel that the people are not behind deforestation. Increase pressure on governments. This is what they've been doing in the Amazon. Greenpeace, in particular, work very actively in the Amazon to conserve rainforests. So they put pressure on government and awareness of the issues through education. Okay, let's go. We're going to do two more. We're going to do ecotourism, which is a fantastic way because people think that you have to clear the rainforest to make money, but absolutely not. Ecotourism is a fantastic one because you can actually make money from tourism. People going and visiting the rainforest, learning about conservation projects. I'm assuming many of you watching this video, I'm just looking for my other, many of you watching this video would love to visit a rainforest if you haven't already. I certainly would. So ecotourism, which is a type of, it's kind of educational tourism. So you would stay. So it's educational. It's all about conservation. You would stay in a little log cabin. So in theory, then, if you just say that out loud, you would obviously, yeah, so there's your little log cabin. I'm sure it's got all the mod cons. And then you would, obviously, you'd have to clear a little bit of forest to build these places to stay. So that does have some impact. But then you could go on a trip with your family. Draw a few people in. And as you know, everybody on holiday would then, it would create jobs for local people, jobs for locals. So things like guided tours, souvenirs, food, drink, all those sort of good stuff that you need when you're on holiday. The locals could earn money from that. Yeah, the trips, the visits, the food, and even the accommodation, anything like that would be great for them. You could teach the tourists about the rainforest and all the different species. You can tell them about conservation projects. You might even get them to donate some money as well to put into projects. So obviously, if they see it, the tourists might back some other projects in the future, which is really positive. Local jobs, and then that would increase wealth and improve the local economy. So one country that does this really well, does ecotourism, is Costa Rica in Central America. Costa Rica. Make sure you get the little example down, guys. Costa Rica is your example of ecotourism. I know that's not in the Amazon, but that is a country that is leading the way, I would say, in ecotourism because the government is well behind. Is the sound back on now, guys? It should be back on. As I say, with the live streams, anything can happen. We've just changed the lapel mic, so hopefully we are back on. Let us know in the chat, guys, if we are. Oh no. International agreements, and in 2006, so the sound is down. We can't hear you. Yes, the sound is on. Hear you loud and clear. Are we on back on? I don't know. Anyway, the sound is here. So international agreement, 2006, 70 countries signed up to the agreement to protect rainforests. 70 signed up to protect rainforests. There we go. Fantastic. There we go. So, international agreements, 70 countries signed up to protect tropical rainforests. Let's go back to the settings. Let me just change the audio. What are we on now? Let's just go to the web audio. Hopefully you can hear me, guys. I've just changed the sound settings again. Sorry about that, guys. My lapel mic, which I've got on here, as the batteries run out of sound there. So hopefully you got that last bit. It is live, so anything can happen when we're live. This last one is international agreements. In 2006, we had 70 countries signed up to protect the rainforest. This was called the Timber Agreement. The Timber Agreement, let me just add this in here. The Timber Agreement signed in 2006 was one of the main ones. Now, the sound might not be perfect now, guys, because obviously I'm using the webcam mic this time. So there you have it, guys. Look at that. Wow. It is absolutely full. Now, that is a fantastic job, everybody who's joined us on the live stream for our tropical rainforest. Look at that. Tropical rainforest, Amazon rainforest. That covers a huge section of the course. And we've got loads and loads of facts and figures and some ongoing evaluation, looking at the biggest causes, the main impacts, and then the most effective management strategies in order as well. Hope you joined today's live stream. If you want to give us a quick comment in the chat, do give us a quick comment. We are about to head out. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. We are going to be back next Monday for another live stream, and you don't want to miss that one. So hit the notification bell to keep in touch with all the developments. I would like to say a huge thank you to our mods tonight. You are amazing. Thanks for joining us, Team Mod, and the moderators as well. Really appreciate that, guys. Is there any comments, guys, before you leave? If anybody heads off. Well, thank you very much for joining the live stream. We are going to head off now. So all the best. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and absolutely fantastic. Well done with your Amazon rainforest case study. Take care. See you on Monday. Bye-bye.